so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do.
Good morning, Mountain Christian School. So today you are stuck with just my voice. Don't even pretend to be sad that you can't see me. I know you're not. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Why? Because we're in the middle of a quarantine, and the best way to celebrate a quarantine is by doing something a little different than usual. So today we're going to be doing a round of Bible trivia. I'm not going to be throwing you candy because I can't throw that far all the way from me to your house. And so we're going to be doing a little bit different. This is the social distancing version. All right, so here we go. Before we get started, I'm going to lay out a couple ground rules because, yes, even in quarantine, apparently there are still regulations and rules. So this is no different. Here we go for this Bible trivia version. I would like you to go ahead and go get a notebook and a pencil. You are going to be keeping track of your own score. You are going to be, when you get a question correctly or you miss it, you're going to be giving yourself a score based on the question. And I've laid out kind of some easier questions and harder questions and given some points. So you're going to keep track of your own points. So go ahead and pause this video right now. Go get a notebook so you can keep track of your own points. Why would you keep track of your own points? So you can feel good about it, so that you can rub it in your brother's face when you get more points than him, or so that you can challenge your brother or sister or dad, or maybe even Mr. Fitch. So go get a notebook, keep track of your points. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right into round one, Old Testament trivia. Are you ready? Here we go. First question. What instrument did David play? And no, it wasn't a tuba. That's VeggieTales. Worth 1 point. Here we go. Correct answer is the harp. The harp. If you got that right, give yourself a point in your notebook. By the way, at any point in time, feel free to pause this video. I'll try to go slow a little bit, but I'm going to keep going through it. So if you want to pause me so you can think about it, go ahead. And remember, I can't stop you from cheating, but remember, you're just keeping track of your own points. So if you decide you want to cheat, you go right ahead. All right. Question number 2 from round 1, Old Testament trivia. Who did David play his harp for? Who did David play his harp for? Okay, jumping into the answer. King Saul. If you wrote Saul, I'll give you a point. You can give yourself a point. If you wrote King, I would only give you half point, but I'll let you decide what you want to give yourself. King Saul is the correct answer. All right, moving on to 3. What is the 8th book of the Old Testament? If you know a song, this is the great time to break it out, the books of the Bible. I know a song for the books of the Bible. I'm not going to sing it for you, but I learned it in kindergarten, and it still sticks with me today. So go ahead and sing your da-da-da-da-da-da, 8th book. You got it? Got it? Okay. The 8th book of the Old Testament is Ruth. And if you didn't spell that correctly, you really should have. That's an easy one. Ruth. I almost put Deuteronomy, but I knew that would be a little tougher to spell. All right, 8th book of the New Testament, 2 points. Ruth. Nice job. Moving on to the next question. Can you name a set of twin boys in the Old Testament? You can pause me to think about it. A set of twin boys in the Old Testament. There's one that is pretty well known. Okay, ready for the answer? Correct answer is Jacob and Esau. They are the most well-known set of twin boys in the Old Testament. If you wrote down Jacob and Esau, nice job. You can give yourself 2 points. If you wrote down Jacob or Esau, go ahead and give yourself 1 point. Okay, and there's also another set of boys. If you came up with Perez and Zerah, I would be impressed. They are a much lesser known set of twin boys, probably for good reason in the Old Testament. But if you came up with them, nice job. 2 points for you. Okay, here we go. Next question. What was the snake Moses made for the Israelites made from? In the Old Testament, Moses made a snake out of something for the Israelites. He made a snake. What did he make it out of? Are you ready? Here we go. And the answer is bronze. Not gold, not metal, bronze. Good job. You got that. 2 points. That was a little tougher. Okay. This one, I probably should have only made 2 points, but I gave you a bonus for it. Where was Moses born? And the bonus is, what was the name of a huge nearby river? So go ahead and write that down. Where was Moses born? And what was the name of a huge nearby river? A river that was near Moses' birthplace. Are you ready? He was born in Egypt. If you remember the movie Prince of Egypt, that was pretty easy probably. And the name of the river? The Nile River. Nice job. So if you got both of those, Egypt, Nile River, give yourself 3 points. Good for you. All right. That is the end of round 1, Old Testament trivia. How many points did you get out of 11? You can draw a line across your paper and tally up how many points you got out of 11. Now put that number to the side. We're going to keep moving on to round number 2. Round 2, New Testament trivia. Here we go. All right, moving into round 2, these are going to be a little tougher, or at least I tried to make them a little tougher, and we'll see if you can do it. Here we go. First question, who asked Pilate for Jesus' body after the crucifixion? We're right around the corner from Easter, so there's a good chance you may remember this detail from the Easter story. Who asked Pilate for Jesus' body after the crucifixion? Ready for the answer? Here we go. Joseph of Arimathea. If you wrote Joseph, give you 1 point. If you wrote Arimathea and you spelled it correctly, give yourself a bonus point. That's impressive. Joseph of Arimathea, 2 points. Nice job. Move on. Next question. Who was not present when the other apostles saw Jesus risen from the dead? Who was not present when the other apostles saw Jesus risen from the dead? So one of the apostles wasn't there the first time Jesus came to the disciples. Which disciple wasn't there? You ready? This is another kind of Easter detail. Correct answer? Thomas. Thomas was not there. If you wrote Thomas, nice job. Give yourself 3 points. Okay. What type of insect did John the Baptist eat in the desert? What type of insect did John the Baptist eat in the desert? Okay, writing it down. So, correct answer, locusts. If you wrote beetles, that is not correct. He did not eat beetles that we know of. The Bible tells us he ate locusts and honey. And if you're wondering what a locust looks like, it's this guy right here. It's kind of like a giant grasshopper, and they usually don't come by themselves. They come in swarms. If you have eaten a locust before, give yourself a bonus point right now. That is impressive. If you have eaten multiple locusts with honey, give yourself another bonus point, because that's impressive. All right, moving on to the next question. Here we go. What language were the books of the New Testament originally written in? What language were the books of the New Testament originally written in? If you've been listening in chapel at all, when I've been telling you strange words all year, you probably remember this. What language? Greek is the correct answer. If you wrote Greek, the New Testament was originally written in Greek. Give yourself 3 points. Nice job. Okay. Next question, what nickname did Jesus give to James and John? 2 of his disciples, James and John, were brothers. What nickname did Jesus give to those brothers? Worth 2 points. Here we go. The answer is Sons of Thunder. Sons of Thunder. If you wrote that, nice job. 2 points. All right, and that is the end of round 2. Go ahead and write on the side how many points did you get in round 2? There was 12 possible points. So go ahead and add them up. Oh, is Mr. Man making you do math with Bible trivia? Whoops! Go ahead and add up your points. How many did you get out of 12? And then round 1, you had a total of out of 11. Round 2, you had a total of 12. So that is a total of 23. Why 23? That is a great question. 23, there's a total of 23 points so far. How many points do you have out of 23? Go ahead and keep track of that in your notebook. Write down how many points you have so far. Add them all up. All right. Moving on to the final round. I'm calling this round Mr. Fitch Trivia. In other words, this is a difficult question. This is a harder question, and I wonder how many of you guys might know this. And this might be a question you could ask Mr. Fitch and see if he knows, if he hasn't watched this video. Okay, here we go. For round 3, Mr. Fitch Trivia, worth 7 points. What did Elisha ask Elijah for before Elijah was taken up to heaven? What did Elisha ask Elijah for before Elijah was taken up to heaven? Elisha was a prophet who trained with the prophet Elijah, and before Elijah was taken up to heaven in a flaming chariot, Elisha asked him for something. What did he ask him for? Write it down on your paper. Write it down on your paper. I'm going to give you a second. All right, here we go. For the final round, worth 7 points. The answer, a double portion of his spirit. A double portion of his spirit. Awesome job. If you got that, that is very impressive. That is a difficult question. Give yourself the full 7 points. That is awesome. What that means, a double portion of his spirit, you should ask Mr. Fitch. Okay. All right, that brings us to the end of round Fitch and also the end of our Bible trivia game. So there were a total of 30 points possible. Go ahead and add up your points from all 3 rounds. I would love to know how many points you got. If you got the full 30 points, wow. Give yourself a high five. And I would love to hear if you played a perfect game. That's awesome. If you were one of those people who got higher than 30 points because you ate a locust, please reach out to me, and I really want to hear your story about eating a locust. I would find that absolutely fascinating. So go ahead and reach out to me with any interesting stories of weird things you've eaten, especially locusts. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's virtual Bible Trivia Chapel. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and have a wonderful week. Don't drive your parents crazy. Bye.
Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence you